Now, during last fall's campaign, MTN News and Montana State University teamed up for their first ever poll, asking Montanans about their views on the election, elected officials, and some top issues. Now we followed that up and asked participants more about how they voted and why. Now tonight, in the first of a three-part series, MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison and MSU political scientist David Parker delve into those answers on the U.S. Senate and House races.
In the high-profile U.S. Senate race won by Democrat Jon Tester, we had President Donald Trump visit the state 4 times, attempting to boost Republican turnout for challenger Matt Rosendale. Our poll showed that, for the most part, the partisan voters came home. 99% of those identifying as Democrats went for Tester, and 91% of Republicans stuck with Rosendale. But Tester won the independents by 61 to 34%, a significant edge. We also asked voters whether their choice was influenced by President Trump or the divisive hearings on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. 45% said their choice was not related to Trump. 30% said they voted to support the president, and 24% said it was a vote against the president. On the Kavanaugh hearing, 60% said it factored into their vote. Of those, 58% said they voted for Rosendale, but 40% said they chose Tester. But there's more to this Kavanaugh effect, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. If you thought the hearings were important and they mattered to you, you voted for Matt Rosendale, and if you didn't, then you voted for Jon Tester. But here's the nuance. What happened is that more Republicans it mattered, so they came home. A lot of independents, it didn't really matter so much, and overwhelmingly those independents went for Jon Tester. And I think that was really key here in the race. The Kavanaugh hearings had an effect to get Matt Rosendale's base back in line where he needed to be. The problem is you can't win on base alone in Montana, and Jon Tester won with an overwhelming advantage among independents.
So now let's take a look at some of the results in the House race. Here we also had a very partisan breakdown. 99% of Democrats went for Democratic challenger Kathleen Williams, and 95% of Republicans chose GOP Congressman Greg Gianforte, who won the race by 5 percentage points. Williams won independents, but by a lesser margin than Tester, 53 to 43%. We also asked if Gianforte's assault of a reporter on the eve of his first election in 2017 influenced voters. 56% said not much or not at all, and they mostly voted for Gianforte. 73% of Republicans said it didn't influence their vote at all, and 83% of Democrats said it did. But we also had a Trump effect in this race, didn't we?
You know, the irony is Donald Trump came to the state 4 times to try to defeat Senator Tester. But we do know, as political scientists, that House races are very easily nationalized. So I think those visits, according to the data, seem to suggest to me that Trump succeeded in nationalizing the race, and that helped Greg Gianforte. If you look at the data among independent voters, you see very clearly independent voters did not break as heavily for Kathleen Williams as they did for Tester, 1. And 2, she didn't do as well as among Republicans. There was a 3-point difference between how Jon Tester did among Republicans and Kathleen Williams. And between the loss of those independent voters, some of whom approve of the job that Jon Tester's doing, probably led to her defeat.
Thanks, David. Tomorrow we'll take a look at the poll results for the initiatives. I'm Mike Dennison with David Parker for MTN, reporting from Bozeman.
Just about 1,400 people responded to the mail poll, and the results have a margin of error of 2.6%.